Okay, so welcome to our episode with the amazing Margaret Morison-Macleod, founder of the Divine Hag, who is also kind of witchy. Is that
Yep,
okay to say
kind of
that,
witchy,
Margaret? It's okay if
very
I
witchy,
say who is a
bit woo woo.
yes, a bit woo-woo, but we absolutely love it. And actually, I thought it was really important to include this in the magazine because as much as yes, you're a wee bit witchy and a wee bit woo-woo, which we love, the products that you create have actually got proven health benefits. So
Yeah,
I thought it would be great to run through. You've provided us with a fantastic feature for this magazine, Margaret, but I thought it'd be great to run through it and chat more about it because there'll be people that love a video, they go mad for a video, let's face it, or they'll want to have a bit of backup from reading this and be like, I want to hear from the woman herself that makes these products. So let's go through it. And I want to start the discussion by saying Margaret and I have known each other for years through the GGC business. Margaret has been
yeah.
a long-standing friend of mine and partner of the GGC, and we've done a podcast previously to introduce Margaret and to introduce your witch-like story, which I actually love. I would love to have a witch-like story, but I do recommend that people listen to that because actually you've got quite the story to tell, Margaret, and you've got a lot of really interesting knowledge, which is just very nice for people to have
Yeah.
and connect more with you as well. So that is about an intro to you. This is about going over these products, which have got
Mhm.
brilliant benefits for different aspects and elements of a person's life. So let's go for it from the top.
Do it right.
From the top. Right, okay. Essential oils, Margaret. Give us a brief introduction because you introduced me to essential oils before knowing you. It's not something that I involved in my life. So give us an overview of what they are.
Well, they're derived from plants or trees, and they are maybe from the bark, from the leaf, from the root. They are from all different parts of some of them are from all of the the flower and the bark and the
Yep.
root of the plant. Others are just from a specific bit,
Okay.
and they are some of them are steam distilled. There are various different ways of getting the oil out of the plant,
Okay.
and there's things like ylang ylang. I love because they pick it, and I can never get this right. Okay, it's just like it's a blank for me, but they either pick it at dawn or dusk, and I can never remember which. So I usually have a crib sheet for that, but didn't think of that. So sorry, people. So ylang ylang, the flowers are picked when they have the most fragrance release, and they are then distilled, and they're distilled 3 times.
Okay.
And that's why when you go to buy that particular oil, you have 1, 2, and 3. So
Okay.
you have the stronger. It's Yeah, they are kind of weaker, but they also have, for something that comes from exactly the same source of the same plant, the tones are so different.
Yep.
And when I do my classes, I let people smell the 3 derivations of the same plant, and they can, people that aren't used to smelling things or maybe used to lots of highly perfumed things, etc., they can still smell, they can feel the difference in the energy and the tone of the 3. So it's those kind of, I love all those little wee kind of freaky bits that are nature, that are like amazing gifts from Mother Earth, that just people over hundreds of years have, you know, gone, yeah, oh look, let's try it again. Let's see if we can get more out of this plant. And, oh yeah, it's still lovely, but it's a bit different. So, and for different products, depending on what energy you wanted, what signature you wanted with those products, and what you wanted to achieve, you would use maybe the different derivations of that oil. So basically, essential oils are a 100% natural product. They are derived from the plant or the tree, but they are still chemicals, and you can't have the good without the negative sometimes, although they are very positive, and a lot of properties, you know, it's not just hearsay, it's not just anecdotal, there is scientific evidence for a lot of the things that people say essential oils do.
Yeah.
You can actually, you know, you can die from ingesting the wrong essential oil.
Okay.
And in the very, you know, in the past, when people like me would have been drowned as witches, the older women in the village would use essential oils along with herbs and other things for various purposes. And there's a whole lot of essential oils known as abortifacants, which do
Okay.
exactly what the name says.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why, if you are pregnant, trying to get pregnant, etc., there are certain essential oils like clary sage that you should avoid.
Yeah.
Because they cause contractions, and that's not really what you want in early pregnancy. However, in the labour room,
Yes.
that's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So you would maybe want to take something like that and maybe some like geranium into the labour room with you. But I've wandered off.
No, but it's all so interesting,
Yeah.
and it really is alchemy, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Like
Well, it's
you're saying,
alchemy, but it's chemistry as well. And I think,
chemistry. Yeah.
you know, I think that's what a lot of people forget, and that you know, I do worry sometimes when people are putting things out that haven't been, you know, that maybe you put in your skin and things, and they've not gone through the whole commercial testing
Mhm.
part. They've not done, you know, the cosmetic safety, and they've made with the best of intentions, but
Yeah.
they can cause problems, and
Um,
that really, it can, as someone who has invested and put hours and a lot of money into all that, that concerns me, that, you know, and I think that it's, you have to be aware of what you are purchasing. So people
yes.
need to be possibly more aware of what they're purchasing,
Yeah.
and also always heed warning labels. Always look and heed warning labels, because that is really important. Because although it is all lovely woo woo and airy fairy, etc., you can't just be all up here. You've got to be on the ground as well for all this stuff. And you need to be extremely careful with what you're using. It's your body. You know, you
Exactly.
don't,
And
you don't,
plants are powerful. Like
they're very powerful.
so powerful, and
Yeah,
it's, you know, they were put on this earth with humans, and humans, like you say, have always used them for various different purposes.
yeah,
So, like you're saying, Margaret, you get all your products tested, the, you know, the cosmetic testing, they undergo all the testing, and you are an expert in your field. So really, you know, what we're saying before we even run through this is probably get advice from yourself, like, if, you know, if you've got
yeah,
any of the ailments or anything, and be very conscious as a consumer. It's the responsibility of us as consumers to heed warnings and
mhm,
to really be aware of ingredients and products. I think we're moving into a time where we are all being more conscious of the various different products that
yes,
we're using, and things like that. But you know, like you've said, and quite rightly so, plants are super powerful. So,
yeah.
and the best way of using essential oils in, Margaret, because I know you do candles, you do the oils. If someone was to say buy an oil, what would be the best way for them to, you know, have it in their room, or use it? What would be the best way?
If they wanted just to have it in the room, they, sorry, can I just reel back from that question you asked?
Yes.
Um, one of my, just to, like, you know, to say how careful and how you do need to think about how you're using
Yes.
them. I was told recently about a lady who is receiving chemo,
Okay.
and she had read that ginger was a really good oil to stop her nausea. Now
Mhm.
it is, it absolutely is. Um, she put it out the bottle straight onto her skin,
Okay.
and it caused burning on her skin. And that obviously made her even more miserable, and then it made her not like essential oils. So what you're saying, how you're, the question you're asking is really important. And I would say, number one, never put undiluted essential oils onto your skin or onto anybody else's skin. Always dilute them.
Yeah.
Tisserand have a very good website that gives you dilutions. So always Google it, look for the dilutions if you want to put it on skin. Otherwise, have an air diffuser. The little diffusers, and I've got one that changes colour, and that's all. It's lovely, it's great, and very relaxing. So just put a couple of drops in, fill it with water, and put a couple of drops in, and see what that does. If you feel that you're not smelling it or you're feeling nothing, another couple of drops. You do not need lots and lots of essential oil.
Yeah.
It's something that, yes, you might think, well, that's a bit expensive for a tiny 10 milliliter bottle. There's 200 drops in these 10 milliliter bottles.
Okay.
And they can do for several months.
Yeah.
So just a couple of drops and test it and see how you're feeling with it. Or if you have a little burner, you'd normally put a wax melt on.
Yeah.
Clean it out and put some water in the dip where you put the wax melt, and add a couple of drops to that, and then that just diffuses into the air. And that's usually because it'll be more concentrated, because the little dip from where the wax melt is smaller than all the water in a diffuser. If you do want to do a massage, get some almond oil, fractionated coconut oil, whatever. Again, a drop or two, look at the dilutions and just use that and see, something like geranium on your feet at night is lovely, it's delicious.
Love it.
Etc. So a couple of drops is what I always say, and it's the same as when, again, when we do classes and we're doing room sprays, people cannot believe how little they have to use. Use a tiny little amount and see what they feel, how, what scent they're getting from that tiny little amount of either one or a mix. And I would say, if you want to just have one, do that, but quite often a mix gives more balance.
Okay.
For things like if you're feeling a bit depressed or just a bit I would always, my go-to is lemon and Roman chamomile.
Okay.
Because the lemon's uplifting and the Roman chamomile's calming.
Nice.
So you get that balance. If you are feeling, if you're doing something and you need to really be focused, or you're, need a bit of willpower, look at things like grapefruit and mandarin, which are both citrus, but one's slightly higher tone than the other. And again, it's the balance.
Yes.
And that really will help with willpower and focus of thought.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah.
I have to say, I've got your study concentration spray, and it's like every time I'm sitting at my desk, I'm like, I'm ready for work. Like, I love it, honestly. So I've actually got like most of your sprays, and I have to say, baby bliss, the room revitalizer, like it's just, I just love all your products. So we mentioned obviously the oils, the room sprays, the candles. Now you also do balms as well.
Yeah, we've had the cosmetic. I've done Beastie Balm for a couple of years.
Can we just shout out to Beastie Balm?
Yep.
Guys, anyone watching this who is outdoors in Scotland at any point, let's face it, I was at Loch Lomond yesterday and the midges, I was kicking myself because my Beastie Balm is in my makeup bag. But I mean, it's the only thing for me. My mum used to say to me, you must have like strawberry blood or something, because I would go out and I would come back like a midgie bite because they'd all joined up together and I was just one walking lump. But honestly, that balm, they stay away.
Can I just say about Beastie Balm, it took about 2 years for me to get it the way I wanted it.
Okay.
And my big test was I went to, I think it's Cairndow Park near Dunoon.
Okay.
And I stood under a tree. Now, this was an act of will, because I'm the same as you. And every year when I was out in Scotland, I didn't always live here, or lived, away, and that was a bit of a blessing sometimes. But I was always having to get antibiotics because I got bitten so badly, Laura.
Yeah.
And my youngest daughter was just aghast when I stood under a tree full of midges with the balm on, with my arms out, going, do your work. And it actually worked, and I couldn't quite believe it myself. I was like, oh my God, it worked.
2 years in the making, but you've created an actual product.
Yeah, everything I make, I don't just make it like that and go, oh, quick fancy. It all takes age, and it's
a process, isn't it?
It's a process, and it matures and it changes, and it's just, and I don't want to release things for other people to use until I'm happy with them.
Yeah.
And it's just, and that's why it's a process. So we have Beastie Balm, which has proven itself.
Oh, Margaret, getting about this paddleboarding market, because people are on the water, standing up, getting bitten. So yes, any paddleboarders watching this, you need the Beastie Balm.
I had a forester from Aberdeen, or that area, recently had taken some, and one of his relatives actually said to me, like, it was his son, and went, oh my God, my father never normally talks about something. He said, but he got bitten, and they went, oh, my son gave me some of this. His son is in the same space that I'm in. My son gave me a sample of this. And his dad phoned him. He said, my dad never talks about products or anything. He's an outdoor man.
Yeah.
Chops down wood.
Yeah.
But his father had given, all the foresters put it on, and nobody got bitten.
Yeah, honestly, so, that's how good it is.
Yeah, I was pleased about that. But we also have Miracle Balm.
Yes, tell us about that.
Which is a skin balm, and you won't be able to see it, but there will be pictures on the website and the Instagram soon of, I used it in the back of one of my hands and not in the other, to show, to see what happened actually. And there was an appreciable difference in the skin texture in my hands. So, and it's basically like a go-to, just everyday balm for you to use. Just to nourish your skin. Sorry?
Face and body, or just body?
Face and body, yeah, absolutely. As with any other of the products, if you have irritation, don't use it.
Yeah, of course.
Because we all have things that can irritate us. And it has its two main things are sweet orange and geranium.
Lovely.
So they're nurturing, and they're really good for wrinkles and just, for nourishment. And the base is soy wax, shea butter, and cocoa butter.
Oh, lovely. Right.
And with everything else, 100% vegan.
Yeah.
It ended up getting called Miracle Balm because one of my friends, when we could go out to gigs and things, came up from London for a gig, and I was testing it, as I do, and I had a tub in the bathroom, and my friend was spoofing about in the bathroom, and she came running down the stairs, and she went, what is that in that tub? Did you make that? What the hell is it? And I was like, what do you think? She said, it's a bloody miracle. I've been shaving my legs for 40 years, and I've never ever just shaved my legs and had no. It's fabulous. It's a miracle. So it got called Miracle Balm.
Oh, so she shaved her legs with it?
Yep.
Amazing, right?
Okay. She shaved her legs and had no problems at all. So
amazing, right? Okay, so Miracle Balm.
So that's Miracle Balm, and then we've got Healing Balm, which is for your, it's more probably a wintry one. It's for your sore muscles and joints. So if you're training in the gym and you think you're going to get that, I can't remember what it's called, but that after, the day after, when you've overdone it a wee bit, that's for that. And it's got things like wintergreen and things that'll just heat you up and nurture your muscles and joints. So rather lovely. And then we've got a gardener's balm for when you're out doing chopping down your trees or weeding your garden or whatever. And it's just to, it's the same. They've all got very similar bases, slightly different amounts, but it's to nurture your hands and
Yeah, and do you know what? So many people now after lockdown have taken up gardening. Like I think probably across every country, but I know that MT does her gardening column for the magazine, and she said it's the percentage of people is going up and up. And I was gardening the other day, pulling weeds, and my hands, and I was only doing it for like 10 minutes, and my hands were like, I was like, oh, they're just not feeling great. Ideal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just kind of restores, a restorative one. It's not just for gardeners, obviously, it's for everybody. And during the winter, when you've got hacks and things,
yes,
you want something quite gentle but nourishing and that helps heal. So, using all the natural healing properties of the essential oils is important. So
yes.
there you go. So that's the gardening.
Okay, and what next to come?
What next to come is, it's been going on forever, it feels, are the beard oils.
Amazing.
So I'm just waiting to sort out the final labels and then they'll be out. So we've got a lovely woody one, which has got things like sandalwood in it, and it's really woody tones, quite kind of masculine, if you will.
Yeah.
And there's a more citrusy one. And as always, with these patch tests, because the citrus, because of the allergens in it, quite often people have skin irritation with citrus things.
Okay.
So always patch test. And the last one is a kind of sexy, smoking hot one. It's actually called beard oil. Can't remember which one it is. It's either 1, 2, or 3. Okay. It's like beard oil 1, beard oil 2, and beard oil 3. And it's a hot and steamy one.
Well,
so it's got like vetiver, patchouli. It's a nighttime heavy, and it's got an oil called damiana in it, which is a known aphrodisiac. So
nice. I have to say, Margaret,
it's gorgeous.
Oh, I can imagine. And see, although like you are obviously you're talking about an aphrodisiac, so we're like, yes, but see when you talk about your products and you talk about the ingredients, there's just something that comes over you. It's like an ethereal. So I'm listening to you like, yes, yes, yes. But you can just tell it's just there's so much love that goes into what you do. And it's like I'm just feel like I'm going into a wee dream listening to you. So amazing. Right. Okay. So that's what's coming up, which is really exciting.
That's what's coming up. Yeah.
Let's talk then more specifically about certain things that can happen during a person's life whereby they might turn to essential oils, because you've provided a fantastic overview. So let's delve a wee bit deeper.
Sure.
So you mentioned at the beginning pregnancy, women being very especially careful about essential oils that they're using. Give us a wee bit of an overview of the bloom blends.
The bloom blend, what I'm actually doing, because I have middle-aged memory, I have all of my recipes here, so I'm just going to go into my own recipes.
I love it.
Yes, I did do all the recipes myself. I haven't just bought them off a shelf somewhere.
Yeah.
But because I now have so many, I do tend to forget, and I don't want to give you the wrong thing and then people go, that's not what it says in the label.
Yeah, of course, definitely. Just you take your time, get it all up.
So Bloom has things to gently relax you and make you calm, help regulate your heart rate, just calm you down, because I've been pregnant 3 times, and my last one was very prem. I was under a lot of stress. I know that pregnancy stress, and everything I do is built on experience because I'm quite old. So it's kind of through that, as well as the knowledge of the essential oils. So it has rose, it has geranium, and they are both kind of universal nurturing oils. So you know, I want people to almost think about the bloom pregnancy as, if someone gives it to them for a gift, or even, you know, for self-care, it's like being cuddled. It's you sending them a bit of love and holding.
Yeah.
It's that holding moment of when you're just neurotic, you're pregnant, and you know, and it is, you do get kind of like, because you're so worried about everything.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine how hard it must have been to be pregnant in the last year, when you've had to go in and do everything alone, and you know, so that's what bloom is all about. It's about holding, nurturing, and it's about love. So it has rose, it has geranium, it has, again, the balance with some lemon in it.
Okay.
Lang lang, because, you know, it's kind of, for kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's broad.
Yeah.
And it's blousy, and it just kind of feels that you kind of go like, when you smell it. And of course, there's some Roman chamomile in it.
Yes.
Just,
Okay.
but these are all things that you can use during pregnancy.
Yeah.
You know, majorly careful about all that sort of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
But that, and it's just been blended so it's gentle and helps calm you down a wee bit. One of my friends who's presently in Northern Ireland, I sent her some, and she had quite a high risk second pregnancy. She's also 42, and was actually, that's like, oh God, it's her again. You know? And I sent her some, and she was like, oh, that really calmed me down. And I thought, yeah, I thought it must have, because you've not been on the phone today.
Oh,
so
that's good. That's good. So it's
yes.
actually like you see
So,
the results, yeah.
So that's what's in that, and it is all calming, nurturing, holding type essential oils, and that's what it's designed to do.
Lovely. Right. Okay. What about, so the next one that you sent over information on was on like an anti-nausea blend. So I guess really great for people that have got like motion sickness and different things like that. Tell us a wee bit about that.
Yeah, well, it was actually originally designed for my friend's daughter, and it was partly designed because I was a bit peeved, because she kept wanting to be in the front of the car. So I had to sit in the back with the kids. I was like, you know what, I've had enough of this. You know, not having this for a game of soldiers.
So you created a blend.
I blended one for her. Her name's Nancy, and she knows I love her.
Brilliant.
But it was originally blended for travel sickness.
Okay.
And then I discovered it was blimmin' marvellous for hangovers.
Okay, interesting.
Put the concentrated oil of that in your air diffuser the morning after you've that and your iron brew and your sausage piece.
Okay, so that could be like the ultimate collaboration then. I love it.
Yeah. And it's also good if you are in early pregnancy.
Okay.
I wouldn't, you know, just to be extra careful, just the mist, swoosh the mist around. It's very gentle, and all the ingredients are safe.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, it's very good for all aspects of nausea.
Sounds like a right product that works hard.
It is a product that works hard, and it's also got a lot of good feedback.
Okay, brilliant. Oh, I can imagine all your products do, Margaret. Right, okay. Postpartum. So you say not often spoke about, as everything seems to lead to labour, but not beyond. So give us a wee bit about this then.
What about the baby one?
The postpartum one, yeah.
Right. Hang on just 1 second. I'm just looking at the thing that I wrote for you to see what I.
So we talk about
pregnancy.
Yep. Tiring and
yeah, it's not. Yeah, right. Yep. It's baby bliss, and it is. I was 20 when I had my first child, and I'd lost my mother the year before. I was very lonely. and didn't really have anyone to ask. So I know how difficult postpartum is,
Yeah.
and and also my last one was 11 weeks prem, so that was quite difficult as well. So the baby bliss was created for that time, and my original thoughts about it were, I found, you know, she 38 years ago, I found breastfeeding really easy.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody or very few people were doing it then. It was one of those, you know how breastfeeding is popular, it's not popular.
Yeah.
And the midwives were all about, oh, you don't need to bother with that, which is quite shocking now.
Yeah.
But I found it easy, but I am very aware that a lot of other women don't find it easy. And even if, no matter what way you're feeding a baby, it's all seems to always be a bit of a contentious time. It seems to be a time where you get stressed out, they get stressed out. You know, my niece was recently, the baby wouldn't settle, and it was the day before he was getting his jabs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because she was tense because she knew she had to take him the next day for his jabs.
Yeah.
So, you know, all these kind of moments, all mums will recognise. So
100%.
Baby Bliss was, as I say, originally made to kind of relax you both during feeding,
Yes.
but it's kind of evolved to be something that kind of just relax. And it's not just mums, it's dads as well. It's the parent and the child. So it's for things like feeding, bedtime routine. A
Yes.
lot of people have sort of sprayed it around the bedroom as they're putting the baby down. And there's two parts to that really. One is part of the baby's nighttime routine and ritual, if you will,
Yeah.
that they smell that. And you know, and it's very gentle, so it's not a big heavy smell that they're getting hit with, but it's almost like a gentle part of the routine. Oh, that's a sleepy smell.
Yeah.
And it does seem, you know, I've had amazing feedback from people using it for that, which
Including
wasn't what it was.
myself.
Sorry.
Including myself. Remember the turmoil
Mm-hmm.
I went through, like about 5 months of Belarus not sleeping at all, and it just that. And do you know what it was as well? Like you say, it was helpful for me as well, because I was going into the room like, she's never going to sleep, she's not going to sleep tonight.
Yes.
I feel really anxious, and they do feed off your energy. So
Mm-hmm.
it's, if it's what is it, happy mum, happy baby.
Totally.
And it's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So yes, I love Baby Bliss, and I can totally recommend that one. So
Yeah.
amazing.
But
Okay.
you know, so that's it. They've all got kind of stories.
They do. But then that's what's so lovely about your brand, Margaret, is that the brand has a story and the products all have stories,
Mhm.
and that's what makes it really, really special. Right, Moontime. Let's go on to
Moontime,
that.
right? Moontime is for, and this was for my daughter, who I don't know if she actually realised how what she was being like.
Okay, okay. Nicely put.
But I recognised that part of the problem in, you know, with her was that she had PNT,
Okay.
and she, you know, there was a definite cycle to it. So I made this one for her, really to help. You know, a lot of essential oils do have an effect on your hormones. They, you know, go through your endocrine system. They do have an effect on your hormones. So I made something to try and calm her down.
Okay.
And I feel that, having suffered myself, you know, when I was younger, um, I needed that. And so I wanted to make something that calmed her down, helped level her out a bit, and did have things that would help a bit with the pain
Yeah.
and the cramps, and just be gentle.
Yeah.
And again, it's that whole ritual thing, that if you have something that you recognize at certain times, it does psychologically help you as well. Um, and I originally called it period relief, And then I realised that lots of people actually like these smells, so I've renamed some of them. And also women that I know, I don't know how common this really is, but women that I know do have moontime rituals.
Yes.
So, you know, you have rituals around about either your cycle or you have moontime rituals with the moon.
Yes.
So you maybe clear your crystals or you do various things. And it's lovely to have maybe the concentrated oil at that time as well, or to use the moon time as you're clearing, as you're, you know, that, to use it in your rituals. Because I do think that there is a massive resurgence in sort of earth magic, and an awful lot of people, the people coming out as wanting to look at Wiccan and witch and all, you know, all the various permutations of that. So this can also be used around about the moon for your ritual spray.
Oh, amazing. I'll need to let Amber know, because Amber's done a column for the magazine and it's all about her moon rituals.
Right.
And what she does with her crystals. So I bet you she will love to hear about this as well.
Yep.
Okay, I love that. Right, clearing. And you've brought contains clary sage.
Clary sage, yeah. So you don't use clearing if you're trying to get pregnant or if you're in early pregnancy. So that's, and it's actually on the website, and it's on the label not to use if you're in early pregnancy.
Okay.
Clearing came about very briefly after I did a sage ritual in someone's house, and it was years ago, and it was a very heavy clearing. It was a very heavy ritual, because stuff had happened in that house.
So for people that don't know, Margaret, why would you do something like that?
You would do something like that if the energy in the place was very wrong.
Okay.
And briefly what had happened was this woman's husband had been unfaithful in their home, and she found out about it, and she wanted to clear out the essence of that. Unfortunately, the person with whom he had been unfaithful was quite powerful and had done quite a few things in the home that had to be undone and cleared. It sounds all very... They'd left symbols in books, and it was one of those slightly off the scale things.
Okay.
So the homeowner was there as well, you know, I knew her, and I took several hours with sage and water and salt and crystals, and, you know, doing the ritualistic cleansing. It was not quite an exorcism, but it was heavy.
Yeah.
And using the pendulum to find where things were when we realised it, and there were so many things. But anyway, but what happened was, almost at the end of it, I was walking down the stairs holding the sage, which, you know, it just kind of embers away happily. So I'm walking down the stairs. You know how sometimes you have two thoughts in your head at once?
Yeah.
I had the thought that, phew, got away with that, because it was so powerful. So I was kind of going like, got away with it. And at the same time, I was like, don't think that. And the sage at that point suddenly caught light and burnt my fringe.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I realised we hadn't quite finished our work there. I had to do a bit more there. But I also thought, do you know what? Sage isn't always the best.
Okay.
Let me look to the essential oils and work out something that clears the space and raises that energy and changes the energy, and that's where clearing is born. So it's got things like clary sage, lemon, citronelle. They're all high energy.
Yeah.
And rosemary, which is slightly heavier, but it's still clearing, and it's, you know, it's just expansive. So it's all things that expand the energy and raise the energy of the place and get rid of the heavy, dank energies.
Yeah.
And we kind of found out inadvertently that the side effect is, one of the side effects is, it's also, if you live up close, If anybody isn't Scottish, it means a stairwell.
Yep.
If you live in a block of flats and someone in your vicinity happens to like a smoke in the evening, it somehow manages to cancel that smell out as well.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. And I have to say, I love it for see if ever I have like a difficult day at work or a difficult conversation with someone, or and you've just got that feeling and you're just like, oh, I feel like I just need to clear this room. This room just feels like that's what I love it for, because it is like people are becoming so much more energy aware, I think. And I think it's always been big in America. Like things seem to start in America, don't they? And it is really, it's like we always talk about when you meet somebody and you're like, whoa, like you have said no words to each other, but this is not my energy.
You recoil.
And it's so true. And I think it's like that product is so good when, if you've had a really bad day and you're just like, oh, I hope I'm not going to have a day like this tomorrow. Like, you say that in your head, I hope I wake up and tomorrow's different. It's like, we'll clear the energy.
Do you know, the other thing is if you're staying in a hotel room, anywhere that's not familiar to you, it's really great to get rid of whoever's been in there before you. It's lovely to do that. And people have had really good feedback from people who have bought the candle when they've been selling their house.
Nice. Okay.
Because it gives it's almost like it clears them out, so it helps whoever's come in to view be able to see themselves there easier. So it seems to work really well there.
That is
a little clearing candle burning away. So
okay, I like that. And again, I suppose if you've just moved into a house, because you just don't know what goes on behind closed doors, it's age-old saying. If someone's been arguing night and day in a room and you walk into it, you're like, wait a minute, this room feels off kilter. That's why, isn't it?
And what you should do is with that, or with the diffuser, or however you want to do it, you go into the room and start in one corner and work your way around. So you go from the corners, from the bottom to the top.
Okay.
Spray it like that.
Yeah.
And then spray your ceiling and floor. I mean, you don't have to use like hundreds, but just and walk out that room, and and you can do a little chant if you want. You can have your music on, you can have bells on, and you can just say, I clear this room, and it's now our space.
Yes.
And it's lovely, and it does also help you. When moving house is really stressful.
Very stressful.
Whether you're buying or renting, and especially, I suppose especially if you're renting, so probably higher turnover.
Yeah.
Just doing that kind of grounds you, makes it your own.
I love it.
And takes, as you say, they've maybe been arguing, you don't know what's going on in the house, you don't know what goes on. So get rid of whatever's going on.
Yes, and make it your space.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Right, okay, I can see an increase of clearing going through the website after this interview as well. Right, okay, great. Right, blissful sleep.
Blissful sleep, the best seller.
So that's the best seller, like brilliant.
It's the best seller.
Little wonder.
People buy it over and over. A lot of, I'm almost bored of hearing myself say this. An awful lot of sleep products are laden with lavender.
Yeah.
Now, lavender per se is not a bad thing. It's got lots of great qualities, and it can be gentle and beautiful. But if you get migraines, it can trigger you.
Yeah.
If you get asthma, it can bring on your wheezing and trigger asthma. It triggers my sister's asthma, so I'm very aware of that.
Yeah.
So you need to be a bit careful, again, being careful with things. And when I had, I was a chronic insomniac, and sometimes I still am. Sometimes nothing works, and sometimes it's just to do with your cycle or whatever, and you just go like, okay, tonight I'm up. But if you, for sort of regular, normal, maybe you've had a bereavement, maybe you've had a bit of stress, etc., that's what bliss sleep's for. So instead of it having loads of lavender, it's got an itty teeny bit of lavender because it does have good properties. Now, the other thing about lavender that I will say is the woo-woo bit, it works in your third eye chakra. Now, this is your imagination, your dreaming, etc. So if you are very sensitive and you have lots of lavender around you, this is going to be putting away. And you're going to have dreams, you're going to be waking up feeling hungover, and you might have gotten to sleep quite well, but you won't have had a restful sleep.
Interesting. Okay.
So, yeah, and when I did one of the workshops I did, one of the women there, she was there with her mum-in-law, and they both looked at each other and they went, oh my goodness, that's what's wrong with whatever his name was.
Okay.
Because they had both been given him lavender, the wife and the mother had both been given this man lavender. And they were like, he always wakes up in the morning, always feeling he's not had enough sleep, he's had dreams, he shouts in the night. So they made different pillow mists for this particular chap, and that was better for him. So that's, too much lavender. If you're sensitive, it can also do that. So this has things like rosemary and geranium in it as well, which are more balanced. Again, rose, that loving cuddle, lang lang, and they're all. It sounds more floral than it is because it's got a lot of rosemary in it, which rosemary also calms. And the whole point in the Bliss Sleep range is that you relax into a relaxing sleep. Okay. So you get a good relaxed sleep. You don't get bludgeoned to sleep with something, you relax into sleep. And we all know if you just snuckle in and you drop off, it's better than being forced into sleep, if you will. So that's Bliss Sleep. And that comes in, that's a balm, a candle, and the mist, the pillow mist.
Nice.
And one of the things that's lovely is if you take a little bit of the balm, and you put it on the soles of your feet.
Nice.
And it just, because that's just taking you down. Oh, and bath salts. So you can actually have, that's the other thing that's gone through testing.
Okay, brilliant.
So you can have an actual ritual.
A sleep ritual.
A proper sleep ritual. So you can have your bath with your bath salts, or your shower with just a little bit, because you'll still get the scent coming. And then, you can have your candle and by your bath, just wind down and relax. And then you can put on a little bit of the balm and put on your pillow mist on your pillow and just get into that.
I feel like I'm about to drop off now. I'm like, so just keep talking, Margaret. It's amazing. Right, okay, no, I love that. Okay, amazing. Blissful sleep. That is just, and it is something that I tried as well. I actually need to buy more from you, Margaret, because when I was baby blissing it, I was blissful sleeping myself as well. And I was just like, right, just having nice, restful time. So, right, I love it. Right, okay, libido.
Libido.
Mm.
Let me just see what I've said about that.
What if it needs a little boost, a wee sensual blend?
If it needs a wee boost, you do need the wee sensual blend. So what you want is things like vetiver, patchouli, bit of lang lang. And again, these are heavy, earthy things that are just, they intrinsically, when people do smell these, they might recoil from one but go to another one. Damiana, they are all woody, heavy things, and that's going, obviously it's going down to your root and sacral chakras as well, and that's where your essence and your kind of libido is held. Okay. So that is all kind of wakened up by those more earthy scents. So I'm just double checking again.
Yes.
And we'll just whisk this up.
So a nice week, you're having a nice romantic night. You could
if you're having a nice romantic night, get a wee essential candle on.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what I do with all the products, or I'll give it a wee spray around the room. I'll do both. What I do with all the products is try to get that, do that balance.
Yeah.
So if you don't really like patchouli, there's not too much of it in, and it's balanced with other things. So although you've got vetiver, you've also got carnation,
Okay.
which is not a common, it's not an essential oil you buy in the supermarket. It's not an essential oil that people think about.
Yep.
But it's really peppery, and it is quite heady but clean.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's it's one that again I pass round with my hand over it, and
Yep.
it's very expensive, and I pass it around and say, "Can you guess what this is?" And usually my clue is, well, if somebody bought you a bunch of flowers from a petrol filling station, it'd probably have this in, and they went out of favour. I think carnations are coming back into favour now, but
Okay.
they went out for a very long time because of that petrol filling connotation, I think.
Yeah.
But it's very peppery without it being black pepper, which is,
Nice.
So what we're trying to do with Essential is finesse you into awakening your libido, rather than hitting you over the head and dragging you to the cave, whether you're male or female.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that caress, it's that kind of wakey, 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 not how you here now. So that's what we're
Okay.
right. So
Yeah.
again, it's got bergamot in it, which is a citrusy
Nice.
light. That's the taste of what do you call it? Earl Grey tea.
Yes.
Right? So you've got the really heavy, woody vetiver, patchouli, which anyone that was a teenager in the 70s, all the boys smell of patchouli,
Okay.
Yeah, so that may put women a certain age off it. But it's a little bit of geranium, but it's balanced with clary sage, bergamot, lemon to bring that to life and to,
Yeah.
so you're not just being bludgeoned, you're also being uplifted.
Okay. No, I love it. Right. I love it. I'm definitely going to get that one, give that one a try. I love the sound of all these. I'm like getting. Okay. So finally then on our list, you chat about perimenopausal and menopausal blends, which are good for ladies going through perimenopause or menopause itself. So can you give us some information on that?
The pause blend is particularly made for that, and it has more essential oils in it than any of the rest of the blends, because it's the worst time for many women. I find it quite funny because I've been selling this one for about 3-4 years, and suddenly everybody's talking about the menopause, and I feel like going, hello.
And I've been talking about it for years.
I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't allowed to have HRT.
Okay.
Which I actually also throughout my whole life, my sister laughs at me because my whole life I went, I'm not having pretend hormones. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be fine. Oh my God, I was so not fine. Okay, so personally, I had panic attacks. I woke up in the night with hot sweats, panicking. And the anxiety, I've always suffered from social anxiety. Even some of the GGC meetings, Laura, I find it hard to get through the door.
Oh, bless you.
And it's just the way I am, and I'll probably always be like that. And it's it's good to accept sometimes that that's the way it is and find the ways of dealing with it.
Yeah.
But the whole menopause, just I was working as a surveyor at the time, and I remember not being able to dictate because it made me panic. I couldn't dictate the reports. So I would get up at 4 o'clock the next morning to try and dictate the report from the day before because I was panicking about it so much. And I couldn't get HRT because I have such horrific migraines.
Yep.
I do actually, I spoke to the menopause doctor, and she recommended something, and I do actually have something now which has helped immensely.
Okay.
But for a very long time, there wasn't anything apart from essential. I couldn't take black cohosh. I can't take lots of things. So I did a lot of research into what essential oils help balance your hormones, what help uplift you, and the menopause mist. My sister and a lot of my friends use pillow mist.
Okay.
It has things in it, it's got things in it like rosemary and peppermint, which are good for the memory, because you get this brain fog and memory loss.
Yeah.
It's got geranium, which again, helps lower your heartbeat, helps with your panic attacks, helps with your anxiety. Basil, which really helps balance you. I'm looking down my list here, so it's got basil, it's got peppermint, it's got clary sage for help clearing you.
Yeah.
Sage, orange, lemon, because they're all uplifting. And when you are feeling under that dark fog, you need to be uplifted.
Yeah.
And sandalwood, and again a bit of Roman chamomile, just because it's so gentle and it's so useful. And that blend, it's kind of the way that I sense the scent is I sense it's slightly more medicinal than all of the rest.
Okay.
But I've had, I had, when I was doing some markets, I actually had a lady come back and she said, "You just changed my life."
Oh.
And that it did make me cry.
Yeah.
And that's really humbling. That something that you've spent a lot of time on does help other people.
Yeah.
So the pause, and so it comes in the mist, and it also comes in a candle and an oil.
Okay.
So you can just put some in a diffuser, or you can spray it onto a tissue and have it up your sleeve if you're at work and you don't want to, because sometimes we don't want to draw attention to having a hot flush.
Yeah.
You don't always see it, but you're so aware of it, and you maybe just want to do this and take that moment to calm down again.
Yeah.
It was called the menopause blend, but one of my stockists, who's male, was interviewed in a magazine, and he was talking about the blends, and he actually said, "Don't really know if I should call it the menopause, because I love it." And he used all that summer to cool himself down. So I thought, do you know what? Let's embrace that.
Yes.
And call it pause, because it is, the things in it kind of help you pause and take a moment as well. And in many ways, the menopause, perimenopause, leading up to menopause, it's a pause in your life, and it's a time when you can stop and think about what you have achieved, where you are, and you're usually at the top of that hill, peeking down the other side of life, and what you actually want to have for that next part of your life. So that's why it was changed to pause.
And you know what? Pause sounds relevant to lots of different times, doesn't it, as well? So actually, there's lots of times throughout even a day that you might just want to take a pause. So
yes, yeah.
I love that. Right, okay, Margaret, that has been so educational and so informational. And I think anybody that's watching this who hasn't yet dabbled in essential oils or has been thinking, I would quite like to introduce that to my lifestyle and how would I do it, that's given them a right good kind of introduction to things that it can help with, and also just the importance of being careful, the various different products. That's been a really, really great conversation in that. So let's move on to part 2.
Okay.
Which is a focus on the chakras, which you have mentioned throughout this. Your roots chakra, you mentioned a few times. Can you give us a wee, so you've given us in your feature a wee overview of the chakras. So in here, we've got a wee overview of root, sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. And you've also provided essential oils that can work very nicely and can work in tandem with chakras, I suppose, to open them up. Would that be the right way?
Open them up or close them down.
Amazing.
Because sometimes I've actually written a little handbook.
Yes.
which you can buy on the site.
Which we will link through to from this space.
Which comes with, you can buy it direct off Amazon, but I sell it with a set of 7 chakra wax melts.
Lovely.
Because what you can then do, and I recently had a lady buy herself 7 chakra candles.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, so I think she's going to have a ball. But what you can do is read the workbook, which gives you, a bit more information. So you can do, you can read about all the different chakras, and I would always start at the root.
Okay.
Because a lot of times when you do this work, it can be really airy-fairy, and you get a bit woo, and that's probably why it's called woo-woo. It's just, and I always feel that you can't really do the work well. You can't be balanced and do the work well unless you're rooted in the earth.
You're grounded, absolutely.
We're not in spirit. We're not there. We're here. We're in this body, and you have to function in this body and do what you have to do, rooted to the earth.
Yeah.
So I do, meditations to root you into the earth and various things like that. And I think that's always been part of my whole system. It's been really important to me. And it's, again, it's one of those like, oh yeah, I'm just chittling along doing this, and now people are doing, earth bathing and all sorts of things. I'm like,
Yes, I know you've been doing it for years and years.
But what it is each chakra has, they're like spinning vortices, and the way that I was always told to imagine it when I first learned about it is it's almost like, these little things that kids get on the string.
Yes.
It's a bit like that.
Okay.
So you have 7 main ones that sort of run down the centre.
Yeah.
You have many, many more smaller that run down the various lines in your body, and it's all also, that's where acupuncture is based, that's where Tai Chi is based, and that's where all of the energy work is based, and it's all either the greater or the lesser chakras that people work with when they're doing all that kind of energy work.
Okay.
So you have the 7 main ones, and again, you start at the root, and you get the root one is always sort of black or dark red. And so if you're feeling slightly unbalanced and you want more to be rooted to the earth, you would wear darker colours. You would maybe carry a darker crystal, so you'd get hematite.
Yeah.
God, name's going out of my head because that's what I'm like. But hematite for the root chakra is always my favourite, because it's the one that's kind of glistening, so it's dark grey, black.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
You know the one?
Yeah.
And it reflects. So basically what it does is it reflects negativity back at anyone that's giving it to you. So it's protective in that, not just protective and grounding because it's dark, but it's also reflecting any negativity away from you. So it's a beautiful stone to have.
Yes, I love it. And actually, Margaret, you've given us a really good list of crystals for each of the chakras as well, which is so lovely, because I know, like we've talked about, so many people are getting more into crystals. They're getting more into all these practices that you have done for years, but hopefully it means a greater connection with the earth around. But having this as a guide, I mean, this is an amazing guide that you've provided for this magazine, because it gives people that way of linking. So, if you are looking at each of these chakras, you can immediately go to an essential oil that matches, or a crystal that matches.
Yeah.
Which is
so you've got your colour, you've got your essential oil, you've got your crystal.
Yes.
And it works up the body. So you've got red, gold, sort of orange, yellow, green or pink for your heart. So you've got a choice there, depending, and sometimes you might feel it green, sometimes you might feel pink, and then your throat is blue. And I would say to anybody starting work on crystals or anything, go to the very light colours, So even if you feel drawn to, you know, a darker crystal, so for the heart, you might feel drawn to malachite, which is a, you know, a dark, dark green. I wouldn't immediately pounce from that. I would maybe buy it, but also get something like a jade, get a light translucent, you know, or a green agate, get a light translucent colour as well, because you don't immediately want to do that deep work.
Yeah.
You know, you can get pink crystals that are dark, that are black in them, like rhodochrosite, but they can also, though they're rooting you to the earth, some of them are very good for, you know, if you have a bereavement or something like that. So you've crystals that are great for that, but also depending what you're using them for. Sometimes they're quite heavy for you to use, and they're taking you down to your root, and they're taking you back to your past.
Okay.
And depending on how sensitive you are, you might not want to do that work as quickly as you're pushing yourself inadvertently, perhaps, to do. So always start, if you can, with the very light crystals. The chakra candles come with a crystal.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay.
And some of them are sent out with quite dark crystals. And it's what I do is I try to link to the order.
Okay.
Because I personally put the crystal in.
Yes.
So I usually feel,
the
and you know I do this, Laura.
Yes, well, if anyone listened to the episode that we did in the podcast, you'll know the magic that Margaret has when it comes to this type of thing.
So I try to link in a little bit and just, you know, feel the right crystal to go in. So I've got my crystals all set up in the colours, obviously, for the candle, for the chakras going out. So that's how, if you get one with a darker crystal, it's because the feeling that you've sent out is that that's what you need.
Yeah, you're right.
But if you're stuck, so but if you're starting out, possibly go for something lighter. If you're out buying it for the first time, go for the lighter coloured crystals. Okay. I'm not saying reject the darker ones, but what I'm saying is get a lighter one and a darker one and work to it.
Because Margaret, you started me off with crystals, but my crystal collection I bought from Divine Hag. So can you give anyone that's listening to this that's like, right, okay, crystals, like obviously, you know, with the essential oils, we know how we can use them, we know how we can take part and getting the benefits from them, but crystals, can you give us just a wee quick overview? Like, how do they work? Obviously, they're energetic things. How can people use crystals, if you like?
You can use them in various ways. One of the things that you can do, which sounds a bit mad, but 100% works, is that you can put the crystal into a vessel and put that into, you know, like a jug of water and leave that overnight, so that the, you know, you might not want to put the crystal right, don't ever stick the crystal right into the water. And you do actually have little bottles now that have a space for you to put a crystal in, or come with crystals. So, and that's fine if they come with crystals. If that's what you're drawn to, that's fine. But it's kind of, I think it's kind of nicer for you to use your own crystals and have a story with them. So you put your crystal into the, not straight into the water, but into a vessel in the water, leave that overnight, and then sip the water. Because that energy is then infused in that water, and then you're getting that energy. So for, you know, probably the most common crystal everybody knows is rose quartz, which is the beautiful pink one. But again, for your heart, maybe jade, or maybe one of each. So if you were feeling, if you'd had a bereavement, if you'd split up from somebody, if someone had upset you on that level, then that's maybe what you would put in. If, on the other hand, you have had a shock or someone has said something untrue about you or been brutal about you, what that is doing is that whole, you know, someone says, I got kicked in the guts. That's your solar plexus chakra. And that is, you literally do feel kicked in the guts when somebody has done something really personal to you, or if you've had a very unexpected bereavement that hurts your, you know, that damages your solar plexus and your heart. So you maybe want to put in a gold stone and a pink stone into your water, or you maybe want to get the essential oils linked to those chakras and do that as a mix, or do that as a spray round. What more with the crystals, I don't personally wear lots of crystals.
Yeah.
I always felt to me as if we were kind of fighting each other. And if you're really, really sensitive, again, you know, like the lavender effect, and you don't have lots of crystals in your bedroom. You know, the immediate thing is that when you start loving crystals, you get to be a bit of a magpie because they're not horribly expensive. So you do get to be a bit of a magpie. You go like, and you usually have them in your bedroom beside you. And what you forget is that's energy. So that can actually sometimes prevent you getting to sleep. It can make you have dreams, etc. So don't have a lot of crystals right beside your bed. Have maybe some clear quartz, which is your crown chakra. So that's uplifting you. That's, you know, and that's lovely to have for dreaming. Or some amethyst, which helps your dreams, and that's your third eye chakra. So again, that's your dreams, it's your creativity, etc. And again, if you are writing or studying, then amethyst is amazing. And you get these incredible amethysts that are banded with white quartz, and that is helping raise you up. Okay. So if I always give them to people that are studying. So if they're studying, they're able to concentrate, but they're not pulled down. So that's how they all work. You know, you can get crystal jewellery, you can wear all the chakra colours around your wrist. Again, I take that off before bed. Yeah. You know, give yourself a little break from it, because there's a lot of power to these things and you don't always realise it. You can do chakra meditations, so you can use candle or crystal or wax melts with those, you know, the oils that relate to that chakra. You can meditate on it and you can help heal yourself. And the other thing that you can do, which is lovely, is you get, you know, the chakras of all the colours. So you can get a crystal of each colour related to the chakras and lay them on the energy points and just lie down. If you fall asleep and it falls off, it's fine. Absolutely fine. It's not a problem. If you lose your crystal, it just means that you've used it enough. You don't need that anymore. So don't get too upset if a crystal goes, if it leaves. It's, you know, it's maybe gone to someone else. Okay. It's not yours anymore. You don't need it. But if you just, you know, in bed, you can lie down and you can put the clear one above your head, purple, blue, green or pink on your heart, gold, orange, and red or black at your feet, and just lie and sort of just let yourself drift off and feel the energy between them. Yeah. If you have difficulty sleeping, or if you know, as we quite often do, put your lead hand, so if you're right-handed, your right hand over right between your breasts, in the middle, right, because that's where your heart chakra lies, and your left hand on your solar plexus, which is, if you put this bit of your hand on your belly button, right, and then go like that onto your body, that's where your hand should be. Okay. So your lead hand and your other, and you just bring those two chakras together, and that's you giving yourself love. And it's you really, to me, that's proper self-care. You're giving yourself care and love and looking after yourself. And that's a lovely way to, drift off to sleep again.
Oh, absolutely. And do you know what, Margaret? This is all like it shows how much everything is so linked. So and it shows how much how the Divine Hag is actually a lifestyle brand,
Yeah.
because it's not just, singular products. It's products with a benefit, which are all massively all natural, all completely linked to each other. And yes, there is an element of the woo woo, because you need to believe to believe. It's like you need to believe to achieve. You need to
Yes.
believe that you're able to do these things, like you're saying, heal yourself. But I just think that this is all so lovely, and it's a really, you've kind of made it really simple for people. You've done the hard work in terms of the the chemistry and everything like that. Obviously a person needs to do the hard work on themselves, but
Yes.
you've
Yeah.
got like a fully rounded lifestyle brand that you're like, here, if these things are going on in your life, try this product, try this meditation, come along and do your half-day chakra course. There's maybe people
Yeah.
listening to this that are like, I am all over that, I want to know more. And you've got half-day chakra courses coming up as well. So yeah, I love this chat. I feel like I could literally go and just have a wee lie down now. Like I just feel so relaxed. But I think you've given such great education, and I just have to say to people, and you've got lots of stats that you're going to back up with, lots of studies and different things. But it's just, if you are thinking about essential oils, you are thinking about eating this, come to Margaret.
And people can email me, Laura. I might not get back to them right away because,
Oh, you've got
life.
lots going on. Yeah.
But people can email me and I'll give them any information that's available. I would say also I've been doing this stuff for about 20. I've been a Reiki master for nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
Master teacher. So, and crystal healer.
Energy
So
is
I've been
your
doing
thing.
this stuff for a long time. And sometimes I forget what I know. It's like, it's been a long time. Can I also just say I'm in Silverburn on the 1st of August.
Fab. Brilliant.
They're running, like opening events, and I've been asked to do an aromatherapy workshop, and I think it's pretty sure it's 1:45 on the 1st of August. It's free.
Amazing. Right, we'll include that as written in the magazine. And anyone that's watching this after the 1st of August, Margaret you do workshops.
I do workshops.
So when they start back up, we'll get all the links on the website and everything like that and get them pushed out as well. Margaret, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
You have just been amazing.
Thanks.
And we'll look forward. I'm definitely coming to the Chakra. I'm doing the workshops. So I'll see you soon.
Brill. Bye-bye.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.